Israeli Prime Minister Benjamin Netanyahu planning to meet with President Trump in New York in the coming days, when the Prime Minister will be in town to address the UN General Assembly. Meanwhile, White House advisor Jared Kushner has been overseas recently, meeting with both Israeli and Palestinian officials. Israeli Deputy Foreign Minister Tzipi Hotovely joins us now live, fresh off meetings in Washington, D.C. Good to see you.
Great to be here.
Let me ask you first about Jared Kushner and the others who are working now trying to jumpstart peace talks to get things moving again. What do you feel about your confidence in moving forward on that front?
First of all, what's really good about the way this administration is thinking about the region in general, they understand that still the biggest issue is the Iranian issue, and the fact that Israel today more than ever has closer relations with the moderate Arab countries such as Egypt and Jordan and even Saudi Arabia. And today I think that many people understand that the Israeli-Palestinian conflict, in order to move forward, the Palestinians need to go through a major change in the way they educate their children. We were just talking about the fact that their textbooks, unfortunately, are still full of hate and denial of the right of Israel to exist as a Jewish state. And this is, I think, the key to get forward in the peace process.
Yeah, we were talking about the UN Relief and Works Agency, which provides a great deal of, quote, refugee relief to the Palestinians. It has come under fire because of some of these educational materials and other things that people feel are very biased. I know that you are working towards having that stripped away, some of that. I know that was part of your meeting in Washington, is talking about the U.S. provides $300 million to this agency,
right,
and you have questions about how that money is being spent.
Exactly. I met yesterday with John Sullivan, and I met with
State Department.
Yes, and I met with Ted Cruz, the senator, and both of the meetings were very fruitful because we were discussing that the UN bias against Israel is going through certain agencies that are just doing certain things that I think America, as the main donor of those organizations such as UNRWA, that is creating a myth of the fact that the Palestinians are supposed to be refugees when they're actually not. The international law is speaking about one generation of refugees, and then afterwards, of course, they need to be resettled. And the Palestinians were speaking about 5 generations after the 1948 war, the war that they started it. They were attacking Israel. They were trying to make sure that Israel won't exist on the Middle East map, and they lost the war. And they're not accepting this fact, and they're actually educating their children, their grandchildren, their grand-grandchildren on the idea they're refugees from Israel. And this is something that must stop, because the way the UN in general is dealing with a refugee problem, they have the agency, it's called UNHCR, and what they're trying to do is to make sure there are going to be fewer refugees every year. The Palestinians is the only population around the world that the refugees are just growing up. Now think about it. You're giving your money in order to make sure they're not anymore going to be refugees, and eventually what this agency is doing, it's creating more and more refugees. So this is ridiculous, and this is American taxpayers' money, and there's no transparency. Some people don't even know where the money is going to. The only thing we know is that in the last Gaza operation that Israel was involved, some of those UNRWA schools were part of Hamas actions against Israeli IDF and Israeli children in the south side of Israel.
Yeah, and there's been a lot of criticism and discussion about that, about the settlements and things that we could discuss for an hour. Unfortunately, that is all the time that we have. We know you're busy doing that ahead of the Prime Minister's visit here as well. More on this to come. Thank you so much for your time today.